Your life didn't fall apart in a single day. It unraveled with every excuse, every "I'll start tomorrow," every "yes you should have said no to." And today, if you don't do something about it, everything will keep slipping, quietly, but slipping. Many feel lost, drained, and disconnected from themselves. It's not for lack of smarts or desire. It's a lack of direction. Living in reaction to everything except what truly matters. The real danger isn't the chaos. It's how you get used to it. But the Stoics knew, a life without order isn't living. Epictetus taught that freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want, but from mastering what you do with your mind, time, body, and choices. This video is for those tired of just getting by, ready to build a life with purpose. If part of you knows you deserve more clarity, strength, calm, stick around. We're not here to pump you up with empty motivation. We're giving you structure. 10 timeless lessons to organize your life from the inside out, using Stoic philosophy as a guide and daily action as the path. Comment, "I'm taking control today," if you're done delaying your peace. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Your new life starts the moment you choose to shape it. 1. No one's coming to save you. Here's a truth that's as painful as it is freeing. No one's going to fix your life for you. Not your partner, parents, boss, or that self-help book you bought, but haven't cracked open. Life doesn't owe you clarity, purpose, or a roadmap. Feeling lost, stuck, or exhausted isn't a punishment. It's a consequence. It's the exact reflection of every decision you put off, every tough talk you dodged, every bad habit you knew was wrong, but kept feeding because change felt harder. The mess around you, your shaky finances, cluttered home, anxious mind, didn't just appear. You built it. Maybe without realizing, but you did. And until you own that you're the cause, you can't be the cure. Most people wait for something to shift out there. A big break, the stars aligning, a different Monday. But later doesn't exist. It's a trap that keeps you stuck. It's easier to wait than act, more comfortable to blame than take charge. But the cost is steep. Every day you do nothing, the chaos grows stronger, and it works against you. The Stoics didn't believe in waiting for miracles. Epictetus said, "We can't control what happens, only how we respond." That response starts with accepting that everything you've tolerated, you've allowed. If you don't set boundaries, no one will honor them. If you don't clear your mind, noise will fill it. If you don't choose, the world will choose for you. That's the heart of Stoicism, not ignoring what hurts, but owning what's in your power. Think of someone you admire, not for fame, but for their steadiness. A woman who runs her household with calm. A man who doesn't raise his voice but commands respect. People who radiate stability. What do they share? They don't expect life to be easy. They don't need everything under control. But what's in their hands, they handle with care. They don't leave emotional debts unpaid. They don't let mornings slip by without purpose. And when they mess up, they don't wallow. They adjust, move on, take responsibility. Not long ago, a 54-year-old woman reached out to me. For over 2 decades, she'd said yes to everyone. Kids, husband, parents, job. Never once said, "This is mine. This is my choice." One morning, she woke up drained, unsure of who she was. That was her breaking point, but also her wake-up call. She started small, 10 minutes a day just for her. Then one tough decision, then a long overdue conversation. She realized something you need to hear. You don't need motivation to start, just to be fed up with staying the same. Stop waiting for a rescue. That's not giving up. It's the opposite. It's claiming your life as yours. No more playing victim to what you don't say or delay. You can build peace without anyone's permission. You can change your path without drama, just consistency. That change doesn't start with grand moves. It's in the quiet moments. How do you talk to yourself when you wake up? Whether you make your bed, whether you reply to a toxic text or let it go, whether you keep scrolling or spend 30 minutes sorting your thoughts. That's where personal organization becomes something deeper. A quiet vow that you're awake, you're here. This time, you mean business. 2. Your schedule is your soul. You don't lose control of your life in one dramatic collapse. You lose it minute by minute in silent agreements. Every time you say yes to what doesn't matter. Every time you give your attention to distractions, not prioritizing. Every time your day starts by reacting to others, not by honoring yourself. That's how time slips away. Not with chaos, but with consent. You might feel like you're constantly busy, always rushing, always tired. But ask yourself this: what did you actually build today? What did you move forward with that truly matters to you? If the answer is nothing, it's not because you're lazy. It's because your schedule belongs to everyone but you. The Stoics understood that how you spend your time is how you spend your life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." He wasn't preaching fear. He was demanding urgency with dignity. Because time isn't neutral. It either shapes you with purpose, or it erodes you with noise. If your calendar is packed with meetings you hate, errands that drain you, endless scrolling and meaningless yeses, don't be surprised if your soul feels heavy. Because every hour that goes to the wrong thing is an hour stolen from the life you could have had. The life you still can have, if you take back your schedule. Most people don't design their day, they survive it. They wake up and immediately check their phone, letting messages and headlines hijack their mind before they even take a breath. From there, they react. One task pulls them into another. One notification becomes an hour lost. They go to bed exhausted but unsatisfied, not because they did too little, but because they did too much of the wrong things. That's not a time management issue. That's a direction issue. And the only way out is to stop confusing movement with progress. To stop worshiping productivity and start honoring intentionality. Your calendar shouldn't be a cage. It should be a map. A map of the values you say you live by. A reflection of who you are when no one is watching. So change how you plan, not with a to-do list you'll ignore, but with a decision you'll protect. Ask yourself, before each commitment, does this align with who I want to become? Does this move me closer to peace, to clarity, to meaning? If not, say no. Not with guilt, but with authority. Because every no to distraction is a yes to depth. Block time for silence, for thinking, for movement, for building what matters. Protect those moments like sacred ground. Not because you're selfish, but because you're serious. If it's not on your calendar, it's not in your life. And if your calendar is just noise, then so is your direction. The Stoics didn't talk about planners or apps, but they knew this: a disordered day leads to a disordered life, and a disordered life leads to a restless soul. So begin simply. Don't fix everything at once. Fix 1 hour. Reclaim one piece of your day. Use it to do something that reminds you you're in control. Your time is your truth. What you give it to is what you become. If you want a different life, start by designing different days. And if you're still unsure, ask yourself this: if I truly respected myself, how would I spend today? Then go and live that answer. 3. Your rituals shape your energy. Picture this: the alarm blares. Without thinking, someone grabs their phone, unlocks it, and dives into a stream of texts, notifications, headlines, and images they didn't ask for but now can't escape. Before they're even out of bed, their mind's hijacked. The day hasn't started, but their focus is gone. It's the same at night. Screens glowing, endless stimuli, a tired brain stuffed with other people's thoughts. The day ends without presence, without real rest. Then we wonder why we feel scattered, drained, like we're not in control. The answer's simple. We start and end our days in disorder. And what begins in chaos rarely ends in calm. It's not about perfect routines or trendy formulas. It's about recognizing that the first and last moments of your day aren't trivial. They're foundational. They build or break your mental clarity, focus, and discipline. Your rituals aren't empty habits. They're statements. They tell the world who's in charge, you or the noise. Start the day with purpose, end it with reflection, and your entire life starts revolving around a stronger center. Marcus Aurelius got it. Despite being emperor weighed down by wars and decisions, he began his days writing, grounding himself in what mattered. He was born to act with virtue, not chase fleeting desires. His meditations aren't morning battle plans. They're reminders of humility, duty, and staying centered. If an emperor found time to focus, what's our excuse? Many fall into the urgency trap. I don't have time, they say. But it's not about having time. It's about owning the time you have. Even 5 minutes can shift everything if you're present. Breathe quietly. Jot down a sentence that reminds you who you are. Stretch and feel alive. Watch the sunrise like it's your first. Ritualizing isn't adding tasks. It's giving depth to the ordinary. The mistake is thinking rituals are for mystics, control freaks, or people with an hour for yoga and ambient playlists. A true Stoic ritual is simple, direct, internal. It's one small action done with full intention. Getting up without rushing, skipping the phone for the first 15 minutes, giving thanks for another day. At night, asking if you lived by your values or just reacted all day. That's enough. You do it for you, not for show. The Stoics remind us that character is forged in the details. Order isn't forced, it's built through consistency. Master the start and end of your day, and the rest can shift, but you're no longer a victim of momentum. You're the author of your path. Try it tomorrow. Pick one small action to open your day. Write it down tonight. Do it tomorrow. Then one to close the day. Protect them like they're sacred, because they are. They're moments where you choose not to surrender to chaos. Moments where you declare, this time, the day starts with me, not against me. 4. Your environment mirrors your mind. He swore he thrived in chaos, said the mess gave him creative freedom. His desk was buried under papers, drawers overflowing, digital files a jumble. That was just how he was. But every time we talked, his eyes betrayed him. Something was off. The clutter was draining him, and he didn't even see it. His name's Michael, 48, a graphic designer from Chicago. Brilliant, creative, hardworking. But his life and mind were tangled in pending tasks. Unfinished projects, pointless stuff. Things lingering because no one stopped to say, this doesn't belong. Then his body started screaming. Sleepless nights, vague anxiety, constant fatigue. That's when it hit him. His environment wasn't just reflecting his inner chaos, it was trapping him in it. We started small, just his desk. In silence, he asked himself honestly, does this help or hold me back? What he didn't use, went. What meant nothing, vanished. What once served a purpose but no longer did, gone. It wasn't about aesthetics, it was mental clarity. By day's end, he said something I'll never forget. I feel like I just dug up a part of me I'd buried under junk and excuses. People underestimate their surroundings. They think a messy space is just life. That piling up stuff is part of being an adult. But every misplaced item, every ignored corner, every surface you say I'll deal with later, saps your energy, silently, relentlessly, until you feel stuck and don't know why. Your environment knows. It's been shouting it quietly. The Stoics taught that the mind craves structure as much as freedom. Virtue comes from mastery, and mastery starts small. Marcus Aurelius, amid war and politics, tended his inner world like a garden. He knew external disorder poisons the inside over time. A chaotic environment keeps your brain on edge. It can't rest, can't focus. It scatters. That scatter becomes your default. You lose clarity, purpose, and direction. Cleaning isn't just cleaning, it's declaring, I decide what enters my space, I choose what stays. That choice builds discipline. Do it today. Pick one small spot, your bag, car, or nightstand. Clear the clutter. Store with purpose. Free up space not for looks, but for focus. When your environment breathes, your mind does too. In that simple act, you're saying, I matter. I won't live surrounded by stuff that doesn't reflect me. I want clarity. That's the most practical way to start organizing your life. Outside in, with one concrete step that needs no explanation. Just resolve. When you do it, something shifts. Not in the world, in you. You're not waiting for time. You're claiming the space you can control. That's where transformation begins. 5. Plan or perish. You wake up late. You skip breakfast. You check your phone, jump into messages, then emails, then a rushed decision here, a postponed task there. By midday, you're already tired. Not physically, but mentally scattered. You react to problems as they come, push deadlines further, juggle errands, and by the end of the day, you're drained. Still, nothing important moved forward. You did a lot, but advanced nothing. It feels like this has become your normal, but deep down, you know, this isn't how your life is supposed to be lived. Living without a plan isn't neutral. It's dangerous. Because when you don't choose what deserves your time, the world will fill your hours with what doesn't. You'll always be putting out fires, always on the defensive. But defense is not a direction, it's just survival. The modern world glorifies urgency. Fast replies, busy calendars, being always available. But being busy is not a sign of success. It's often a sign of poor structure. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Epictetus warned, don't get swept away by the moment. Think of the consequences. For him, wisdom meant acting with foresight. Not rushing, but evaluating. Not improvising, but designing your steps. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. He faced war, betrayal, and constant political chaos. Yet he carved time to write, to reflect, to align his actions with his values. He understood, without clarity, even power is wasted. And what about you? You're not managing an empire, but you are managing a life, your own. A life that will drift into frustration unless you take the wheel. So stop telling yourself you're just going with the flow. Flow without direction is just drifting. Stop saying, I'll plan when I have time. If you don't plan, you won't have time. Time will consume you. Take 1 hour each Sunday. Sit down with a notebook or calendar. Write 3 things: what matters this week, what you must do to feel in control, and what can be eliminated. Then protect that time like a fortress. When distractions come, and they will, don't respond blindly. Look at your plan and decide. Choose. That's how momentum is built. Not with giant leaps, but with repeated, intentional steps. Many people say they don't have a system. But that's not true. Chaos is a system. A bad one. One that rewards procrastination and punishes vision. You don't need a complex setup. You just need the courage to ask, what would my week look like if I respected my life? What tasks would I remove? What would I prioritize if I acted like my goals mattered? You don't need a 10-year vision. You need a meaningful day, and a system that connects today to a better tomorrow. The Stoic path is not about waiting for clarity to arrive. It's about creating it through discipline, through structure, through order. Start now. Open your week before it opens for you. Name your time before it gets stolen. Design your days before they disappear. You don't need motivation. You need a map. Because without a plan, your life doesn't move. It loops. And every loop costs you 1 more week of potential you'll never get back. 6. What you consume shapes your mind. Every time you open social media, you're not just browsing. You're letting someone into your head. Most don't notice. Not because it's subtle, but because it's normal. Normal to check your phone every 5 minutes. Normal to read opinions you didn't ask for. Normal to drown in stimuli until silence feels wrong. But normal isn't always healthy. What you take in daily without thinking becomes the invisible framework of your thoughts. Epictetus didn't have a smartphone, email, or TV, but he lived by a principle we need today. Guard what enters your mind. It shapes your judgment, character, and inner freedom. He warned against empty distractions, letting others' opinions rule you. He didn't need notifications, just street gossip or fear of looking bad. The game was the same, letting outside noise dictate how you think, feel, and value. Now the noise is louder. It doesn't just call, it creeps, overwhelms. You don't consume information, it consumes you. It's no accident you can't focus, feel anxious for no reason, or sleep with a racing mind. Your brain's overloaded with fragments. And fragments can't build direction. A man I met years ago, a therapist named James from Denver, admitted he couldn't read books anymore. Not for lack of time, his attention was shot. Years of skimming articles, watching short clips, hopping topic. His mind craved instant hits. Worst part? He thought it was normal. We tried a gradual digital detox. Nothing drastic. Swap 30 minutes of scrolling for deep reading. Mute notifications in the morning. Keep the phone out of the bedroom. At first, he was restless. Then, clear. Like his mind could breathe again. The Stoics would say you can't find clarity if you feed your attention chaos. You can't have steady judgment if you're reacting to the latest post. You can't act with purpose if your mind's hijacked by what others think, sell, or impose. It's not enough to be careful. You need a system, a mental diet. Not to ditch tech, but to reclaim your perception. Start with one choice. Go screen-free for an hour daily. Use it to read, walk, write, and think. Don't fill it, feel it. Then audit what you follow, what you consume. Ask, does this lift me or just distract? Does it sharpen my mind or echo what I already know? Every click's a vote. Every piece of content's a seed. Every seed grows. What are you planting? You don't need perfection. You need to come back to yourself. The first step to organizing your life is this. Stop giving your attention to what doesn't honor your clarity. When you do, you'll feel it. Not in the world, but in how you think deeper, act calmer, and know your mind is yours again. 7. Not everyone deserves access to you. You feel it, even if you don't always admit it. That unease after a conversation. The tension in your shoulders when you know you'll see a certain person. the lump in your throat when someone treats your boundaries like they're optional. And too often, you smile, nod, respond politely, while something inside you dims. It's not weakness, it's wear. And it often comes from relationships you've normalized out of habit, but deep down, you know they're pulling you away from yourself. They might not yell, might not outright shame you, but they chip away with sarcasm, silence, subtle jabs that make you second-guess yourself. Maybe it's a lifelong friend, a sibling, your partner. Because there's no obvious harm, you tell yourself you're overreacting. You're not. You're seeing clearly what many ignore. Some ties don't break you at once. They weaken you in small daily doses. The Stoics were ruthless about what they let into their minds. Epictetus said to guard your judgment like a fortress. If someone plants doubts, guilt, expectations, they control you from within. That's not freedom. It's a prison dressed as affection. This isn't about cutting everyone off or living alone. It's about knowing who adds to your life and who just takes up space. Maybe today you spent time with someone who left you feeling smaller, who didn't cheer your wins, who turned good news into a reminder that it's not a big deal. And you let it slide because you hate conflict, because that's just them. But every time you swallow that discomfort without acting, you're telling your mind, my peace isn't worth much. Over time, that becomes an emotional habit, one that erodes your clarity, confidence, and ability to choose firmly. The Stoics urge something radically simple. Choose consciously who gets into your emotional world. If someone disrespects your boundaries, energy, or path, you don't owe them an explanation. You owe yourself distance. It might sting at first, but relief follows. When you surround yourself with people who don't compete but uplift, who don't manipulate but respect, whose presence inspires without forcing, then you're free. Try this tonight. Recall the last time you left someone feeling more like yourself, calmer, at peace. That's your compass. Use it to start sorting your emotional circle. Then think of the opposite, who leaves you dimmed, confused, drained. Don't judge. Just choose. You're not obligated to carry ties that feed on your guilt. From now on, give yourself permission to step back without hate, to walk away without drama, to say no without justifying, to say yes only when your peace isn't the cost. Organizing your life means organizing your relationships, your circle, your energy, because no matter how tidy your home or schedule, if you let someone track mud through your soul, you'll keep getting dirty inside. 8. Your body is part of an organization. Care for your body as you care for your mind. They share the same fate. Marcus Aurelius. You've tried organizing your days, schedule, and even thoughts, but something's still off. You're tired for no clear reason. Can't focus. Tasks feel heavier. You think you need more drive, more willpower. What you might need is energy. And that energy doesn't come from more books or lists. It comes from your body. Your body isn't just a vehicle. It's your first environment, the system that fuels every choice, habit, and thought. Neglect it, and everything wobbles. Because it doesn't crash all at once, you ignore it. You tolerate sleeplessness, shrug off back pain, and run on coffee and sugar. Until one day, physical disorder saps the strength to maintain mental order. Maybe you woke up sluggish today. Legs heavy, breathing shallow, a weight in your chest, and you push through like it's fine. It's not. Your body's talking, sometimes shouting, but we've trained it to suffer quietly. We demand without nurturing. Demand focus on a poor diet, calm with no rest, presence with a dehydrated and inflamed. The Stoics saw physical health not as vanity, but as virtue. Seneca said a wise person tends their body not for looks, but because the mind relies on it. A weak body clouds judgment, will, and restraint. Moving, resting, and eating well isn't a luxury. It's a strategy. It's how you live well. You don't need to be an athlete, just respect the basics. Check your daily habits. Sleeping at least 7 hours? Drinking water first thing? Moving with purpose or just dragging through? What do you eat alone? How do you treat your body when no one's watching? That's where real organization starts, or crumbles. Want clarity? Move your body. Want discipline? Prioritize sleep. Want peace? Stop poisoning yourself with sugar and caffeine all day. Do it for focus, not looks, for sharpness, resilience. An uncared for body demands attention through pain. That pain will stop you eventually. The question is when you'll listen, before or after you break. Start differently today. Not extreme, just respectful. Wake up 5 minutes early to stretch. Breathe deep. Drink water before your phone. Walk slowly for 10 minutes. Shut off screens 30 minutes before bed. Not because it's easy, but because no ordered life holds up with a broken body. No lasting purpose survives long in someone neglecting themselves. 9. Chaotic money makes a chaotic life. A disciplined mind shows in an ordered life. How you handle money reveals how you think. Epictetus. You know that tightness in your chest when an unexpected bill hits. That awkward pause at the store wondering if your card will go through. That mix of guilt and frustration when you realize you blew cash on something pointless to soothe the mood. You might say money isn't everything, but when your finances are a mess, everything feels heavier. It's not just numbers. It's dignity, peace, the ability to look forward without dread. Maybe you're scraping by paycheck to paycheck, working hard but seeing no progress. Maybe you avoid your accounts out of shame, not because you're reckless, but because no one taught you to see money as self-respect. Here's a hard truth. Every dollar spent without thought is energy you're letting slip. When that becomes habit, your life spirals into normalized anxiety until you can't take it anymore. The Stoics didn't chase wealth. They chased enough, self-sufficiency, freedom from debts or cravings. Seneca, one of Rome's richest men, warned that true freedom starts where dependency ends. Money doesn't make you free. Managing it with order does. You might not have big debts, but how many small financial promises linger? Subscriptions you don't use. Impulse buys to fill a void that leave you emptier? That's a disorder too. Like physical clutter, it steals focus, clarity, and resolve. Financial noise doesn't stay in your bank account, it lives in your head. It taints every thought, filters choices, drains energy you don't name. Do something different this week. Open your accounts. Face the numbers without fear. List what comes in, what goes out. Not to punish, but to respect yourself. Then cut one expense you know you don't need today. That small act is a quiet roar. I'm taking control. Then sort your spending into 3 buckets. Needs, growth, filler. Rebuild your choices from there. You don't need a financial guru to start. Just the resolve to stop acting like your time's worthless. Money is time in numbers. Every careless expense is life you're tossing away. Ordered finances aren't about fear, they're about purpose. When money stops being constant stress, your mind breathes, your body rests, your energy aligns. The Stoics would say you can't control the economy or others' choices, but you can control how you use your resources. Do it consistently, and it becomes freedom, not the kind you flaunt, but the kind you feel. The kind that lets you walk lighter. The kind that says your life answers to no one else. 10. Order isn't perfection, it's self-love. Some days feel like a step back. You oversleep, skip your routine, procrastinate, and drift. Then the guilt hits. You tell yourself you failed. Back to square one. Everything you built, gone. But that's not true. Failing isn't quitting. Breaking routine isn't living aimlessly. The issue isn't slipping, it's letting that slip define you. True order never falls, it always finds a way to rise. Even Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, had off days. In his meditations, he admits it openly. Sometimes he didn't want to get up, felt nothing made sense, that others let him down, that he wasn't enough. But he always returned to the center, not with self-punishment or guilt, but awareness. A reminder that living well isn't perfect, it's intentional. He didn't write to shine, but to recall what he knew and forgot. He did it for self-respect. That's what we often miss. Real order doesn't come from external control. It's an inner choice, to care for yourself like you'd care for something precious, your home, family, word. Organizing your life isn't about rigidity. It's building a structure to catch you when you falter. Knowing some days you won't nail it, but your system keeps you from getting lost. It's respecting yourself, not just when you crush it, but especially when you stumble. The trap is thinking one broken streak ends the game. That slipping back means you can't become new. The Stoics would be blunt. It's not about never falling. It's about falling better each time. Learn from the hit. Adjust. Don't catastrophize. If every day is a fresh start, so be it. What matters isn't where you restart, it's that you do. Each return strengthens you if you do it mindfully. Ask yourself today, am I organizing my life to demand or to support? Are my systems chains or shields? If every habit feels like a cage, you're not growing, you're scared. But if each habit brings clarity, you're building real order. The kind that doesn't hinge on mood, weather, or algorithms. The kind that comes from knowing your life matters and deserves more than autopilot. Do one simple thing tonight. Close the day like it's a meaningful act. However it went. Breathe. Write one thing you're grateful for, one thing to improve. Not for perfection, for dignity, for care, for self-love. Tomorrow, don't start rushed. Start with purpose. Every ritual done with respect is a way of saying, I deserve a life that means something, even on days when it doesn't all click. That's order. Not a straight line, but a repeated choice to come back to yourself. Again and again. No shame, no punishment. With the resolve of someone who knows real progress is learning to stay steady, even when perfection doesn't show. We've walked a path of reflection, action, truth. This isn't about empty theories or quick fixes. It's about organization as a deep act of self-love, a way to reclaim your power in a world that scatters it. Every lesson, from sorting your mind and space to caring for your body, relationships, money, isn't just nice ideas. They're practices, tools, reminders that your life isn't an accident. It's a work you craft daily with purpose. You don't need to change everything today. Just start. One step, one choice, one conscious tweak to your routine, space, or diet. The Stoics didn't wait for perfect conditions. They acted where they stood, with what they had. That's my challenge to you. Not to be flawless, but stronger. Not to control the world, but your inner one. Because when you build order within, external chaos doesn't break you. It tests you. Revisit this. Come back to these words when things feel like they're crumbling. Remember, every ritual, choice, boundary, every no that protects you is a quiet act of self-respect. That's applied Stoicism. That's real freedom. If this hit home, share your story in the comments. What part of your life are you ready to organize today? What habit will you shift? Your voice could spark someone else's start. When one wakes up, they can wake others. Organization isn't control, it's direction. And you deserve to live with direction, with strength, with dignity.